Welcome to Daily Wisdom, Walking the Path with the Buddha, a podcast shared by David Roylance. This podcast is dedicated to guiding you to completely eliminate the discontent mind and the suffering it causes by attaining enlightenment. Learn and practice the teachings of Gotama Buddha that will guide you to fully attain a peaceful, calm, serene, and content mind with joy. To support this podcast, visit patreon.com/supportbuddha or visit buddhadailywisdom.com, where you will discover a full range of courses, retreats, and online learning resources to assist you on the path to enlightenment. Now, here's our teacher to share more.
Chapter 16. Craving is the problem. What is the solution? The primary problem that Gotama Buddha discovered about the human mind is that it is constantly in a condition of craving and desire, also described as attachment. The mind constantly craves, desires, and attaches to possessions, relationships, wealth, fame, occupations, etc. A craving, desire, or attachment is a mental longing for something with a strong eagerness. The mind continuously and endlessly has cravings, desires, attachments, expectations, or wants, and because we cannot ever fulfill our endless wants with the mind craving permanence, the mind is discontent caused by our own craving, desires, or attachments. The mind is never content and craves more and more from life. This is the condition of the mind in the unenlightened state, creating a life of never-ending pursuit of our cravings. Yet the mind can be trained to evolve past this never-ending cycle of craving. The mind can attain a higher consciousness through the pursuit of Nibbana. As a kid, we feel that we could just be happy if we had a bicycle. We focus the mind on this goal and put lots of effort into obtaining a bicycle. We eventually obtain the bicycle. The mind is content for a period of time, but eventually the happiness associated with the bicycle reduces, and the mind looks for its next goal and the next craving or desire. Next, the mind wants a motorcycle. We apply the mind and effort to acquire this new item, and the mind is happy. But eventually this happiness wears off, since happiness is impermanent. Then the mind craves an automobile. We apply the mind and effort to acquire this new item, and the mind is happy. But eventually, this happiness wears off, since happiness is impermanent. Later, the mind craves a luxury automobile. We apply the mind and effort to acquire this new item, and the mind is happy. But eventually, this happiness wears off, since happiness is impermanent. The cycle continues, leaving us unhappy and unsatisfied, but still constantly developing new cravings. The difference between a craving or desire versus a need is something that is required and helpful to sustain life. A craving or desire is a mental longing for something with a strong eagerness, and if it's not acquired, the mind will become discontent. In this example, the need is for transportation, but it is the craving for more and more that causes the mind to be discontent. Rather than be content with having transportation of any type, the mind craves another form of transportation, which then requires one to pursue this craving, seeking outwards satisfaction or external happiness that is never lasting, because seeking to satisfy happiness externally is impermanent and will lead to a discontent mind. The mind continues to pursue more and more externally, never being content or satisfied with what is. The mind is displeased and continues on this constant search, seeking external fulfillment. The mind constantly craves possessions, relationships, wealth, fame, occupations, etc. We spend our lifetime craving and chasing after our cravings. We endlessly and forever pursue our cravings without ever reaching contentedness unless we attain Nibbana. The path to Nibbana involves extinguishing our cravings and desires, i.e., attachments, learning to live within our means and finding contentedness through inner fulfillment, where the mind can reside, peaceful, calm, serene, and content with joy, never experiencing even the slightest annoyance or dislike. This path to attain Nibbana is guidance to help one understand the cause of the discontent mind, and through personal choices that are made, one will attain higher and higher degrees of a peaceful and content mind, thus, a peaceful and content life. Each person needs to decide when is the appropriate time to extinguish the individual cravings, desires, or attachments currently present in the mind, and as one does so, they will experience more and more of a peaceful, calm, serene, and content mind with joy. The mind will become permanently tranquil and unshakable. In the printed book, there is a table with examples of potential cravings and the potential harmful effects by unwholesome Kama production with connection to Gotama Buddha's teachings. Craving, automobiles, potential harmful effects, excessive work, excessive ego, lack of time with those close to us, pollution. Craving, children, potential harmful effects, overpopulation, disease, famine, lack of resources, excessive work. Craving, clothing and jewelry, potential harmful effects, excessive work, excessive ego, lack of time with those close to us. Craving, fame, potential harmful effects, excessive work, excessive ego, lack of time with those close to us. Craving, food or eating animal products, potential harmful effects, obesity, harmful effects in the body, death, destruction of planet's resources. Greed, taking of life, business and meat. Craving, happiness, potential harmful effects, suicide. Craving, help the world, potential harmful effects, lack of motivation due to inability to help the entire world, ignoring self-development or self-healing. Craving, job titles, potential harmful effects, excessive work, excessive ego, lack of time with those close to us, aggressive decision-making based on greed, hatred, or delusion, and ego that is harmful to relationships, society, and environment. Craving, life partner, potential harmful effects, feelings of abandonment, loneliness, premature selection without full consideration of needs, divorce, sexual misconduct. Craving, perfection, potential harmful effects, guilt, obsessiveness, control, feelings of worthlessness, excessive work. Craving, power, potential harmful effects, excessive work, excessive ego, lack of time with those close to us, aggressive decision-making based on greed that is harmful to relationships, society, and environment, poor working conditions, extensive poverty, corrupt politics, bullying, murder, terrorism, mass shootings, war. Greed, taking of life. Craving, sexual contact, potential harmful effects, loneliness, lack of trust in relationships, sexually transmitted diseases, STDs, unplanned pregnancy, lack of resources to care for children, orphans, rape, sexual abuse of minors, pregnancy outside of committed relationship, human trafficking, prostitution, divorce, death, sexual misconduct, business in humans. Craving, substance abuse, alcohol, illicit drugs, prescription drugs, caffeine, etc. Potential harmful effects, racing mind, excessive energy, lack of calmness, insomnia, loss of sleep, loss of occupation, loss of financial stability, loss of relationships, loss of home, loss of health, drug-addicted infants, prostitution, death, substances that cause heedlessness, business and substances that cause heedlessness. Craving, wealth, currency, real estate, gold. Potential harmful effects, excessive work, excessive ego, lack of time with those close to us, aggressive decision-making based on greed that is harmful to relationships, society, and environment, poor working conditions, excessive poverty, financial disasters, excessive debt, murder, terrorism, mass shootings, prostitution, war, greed, taking of life. The list of potential cravings and desires is endless and born out of greed, hatred, and delusion, which can lead to wrong intentions, wrong speech, wrong actions, and wrong livelihood. Many of our cravings and desires lead us to cause harm to other beings and to ourselves through the natural law of Gama, including not practicing the 5 precepts. As we cause harm because of our cravings and desires, this harm is returned to us due to the natural law of Gama. The mind remains unenlightened and the discontentedness of mind continues, never reaching peacefulness, calmness, serenity, or contentedness of mind with joy. These are some common examples to help you see that your human existence is merely chasing after your cravings and desires, rather than living in the moment to enjoy a life of contentedness while being satisfied with what is. The list of potential harmful effects is just an example of ways these excessive cravings could lead to harmful effects. There are many other cravings and potential harmful effects. The potential harmful effects are not clear-cut and absolute, but potential effects based on a specific craving, i.e., attachment. These same cravings can be pursued as healthy goals without an excessive craving that leads to beneficial outcomes for your life and society. This would be walking the middle way. With excessive craving, we spend our time and effort fulfilling what we think will make us happy, but it turns out once we acquire what we thought would make us happy, that happiness fades and leaves us feeling not as fulfilled. Then, the craving continues until we extinguish our cravings and desires through the growth of attaining Nibbana. These aspects of life are helpful and can be healthy for our existence. However, excessive cravings in any of these areas or others can send the mind into unwholesome pursuit of these cravings. The goal is to extinguish these never-ending and potentially reckless cravings and desires while creating a life of contentment. Bringing the mind to walk the middle way, rather than harbor extensive craving, is part of this life practice. Extinguishing cravings and desires. Some of the most challenging cravings and desires to extinguish are excessive and reckless sexual desire or substance abuse. These cravings, along with others, can preoccupy the mind for unlimited amounts of time, which take away from living a content life. These cravings can cause harm to other beings through excessive use of finances that should be allocated to home life, or excessive use of time that could be devoted to wholesome relationships or wholesome activities rather than chasing our cravings. By eliminating our endless cravings and desires, we are able to pursue more meaningful relationships and activities that produce greater benefit for society, those close to us, and our life without greed, hatred, or delusion, and without cultivation of our ego. We are better able to focus on what we need for life rather than what we want. Depending on the specific cravings and desires you currently have, you may need to find help to learn how to extinguish your cravings. A life full of excessive cravings and desires, such as listed in the above, will take you away from enjoying a peaceful and calm existence in the human form, perhaps inhibiting you from a deep, engaging, and rewarding life. There are various professionals around the world who specialize in the elimination of various addictions. Addictions or cravings, desires, or attachments are all areas of our life that can be addressed through seeking of guidance and/or professional help. Depending on the depth of your addiction, you could potentially gain benefit from various professionals, support groups, and/or self-help programs. Craving is the fuel that causes rebirth. If there is craving at the time of death, you will be reborn into another realm of existence. So, by solving the problem of craving, you also solve the problem of rebirth. If we are not reborn, we do not experience sickness, aging, nor death. The discontentedness and suffering caused by craving is completely ceased. Upon rebirth, most likely you will not be reborn back into the human realm. If you can extinguish your cravings and desires prior to death, you can experience Nibbana. Nibbana will be a content and peaceful existence in which you will not experience discontentedness nor suffering during the remaining time of your existence in the human realm. You will also have peace to know that you will not be reborn ever again. You can experience Nibbana during life and experience unshakable peace and inner fulfillment for your life, or you can wait until death without truly knowing the outcome. As you pursue Nibbana, you will know you are progressing on the path because your life will continually improve as you relate to the world around you in a more and more healthy and peaceful way. Because you are causing less and less harm in the world, there will be less and less harm returned, allowing the mind to be completely at ease and peaceful. As you work to eliminate your cravings and you find you have urges and desires that draw you to the undesirable behavior, it is important not to allow the mind to dwell in the craving and desire. As you feel the urges, especially as it heightens, move the mind into a constructive activity. This way, the mind does not sit in one spot for the craving to build. This would be a healthy application of right effort from the Eightfold Path. You would like to abandon the unwholesome mental state and arise wholesome mental states, but this cannot happen with the snap of a finger. You must apply effort to move the mind into another direction that is wholesome. Therefore, the practice you incorporate when you feel the urges of your cravings is to move the mind into a different environment or activity. Go outdoors, call a friend, go to the gym, go for a walk, or any other activity that you might enjoy that would change the mind from a state of craving to something more productive and wholesome. In the moment of recognizing a craving, you could try meditation. However, this might keep the mind in one spot and not necessarily produce the results you need. Oftentimes, moving the mind into a new environment or a new activity is what's needed to ease it out of addictive cycles, thinking, and cravings. Use meditation as a consistent, ongoing practice to regularly train the mind to eliminate craving with breathing mindfulness meditation as described in Chapter 11. A practitioner will also need to practice generosity as part of their life practice and daily life. Both breathing mindfulness meditation and generosity are the solutions to craving, desire, attachment. The important goal for you is to not be a slave to your addictions and ensure you are progressing on a path to eliminating these life-altering behaviors. As you reduce your addictions, cravings, and desires, you will notice gradual improvements in your mental alertness, clarity, and peacefulness through elimination of your attachments. Your relationships with those close to you will improve and deepen. Be aware that relapses can occur, but bringing a gradual diminishing of your addictions, i.e. attachments, is normal. You should observe a gradual tapering of your addictive behavior as you apply right effort. If a relapse does occur, put it in the past and move forward with your continued pursuit to extinguish the craving. Depending on the type and severity of your addiction, increased levels of professional help and support could be needed, or you may be able to extinguish your cravings through your own efforts. You need to decide what is best for you and how you need to progress to extinguish your cravings, including your craving to exist in this world. By the time of your death, you will need to extinguish the craving to exist in the world in any form, including any desire to enjoy an afterlife with a pleasant destination. If you still have craving to exist, or any other cravings, you will be reborn. We must even extinguish the craving to attain Nibbana. When there is craving, there is no Nibbana. Continue your progress to eliminate cravings and desires that are attachments causing the mind to be discontent. Do not get discouraged as you apply effort to extinguish your cravings. Taper your cravings and desires until they are fully extinguished and continue to walk the path towards Nibbana, a better way of life. The end of each chapter will have learning resources for further exploration. You will be able to explore videos, podcasts, quizzes, etc. to deepen your learning of the content you read in each chapter. Please see the ebook for more details on these resources. As you have questions or need clarification on these teachings, you are welcome to post those into the Facebook group Daily Wisdom, Walking the Path with the Buddha, or contact the author privately for in-depth learning. Daily Wisdom, Walking the Path with the Buddha. Facebook.com/groups/Daily Wisdom 999.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. To provide support for this podcast, visit patreon.com/support Buddha. To access more teachings, visit buddhadailywisdom.com. There, you will discover a full range of courses, retreats, and online resources to assist you on the path to enlightenment. Remember to establish a daily, consistent meditation practice, along with learning and practicing these teachings. A well-developed meditation practice is the foundation in which to train the mind to attain enlightenment.